Hello my friend and welcome back. My name is Hana and today let's catch up. If you're curious about what I'm wearing on my face, what I mentioned in today's video, and what I'm doing in other pockets of the internet, I always have links in the description box down below, so don't forget to check them out. None of my links are sponsored or affiliated, and I do not copy and paste anybody else's sponsored or affiliated links, so if you do decide to shop my links down below, you are shopping clean links. But let's get into it, because I've been MIA for a while, and it's not on purpose, I promise. It's never ever on purpose, but this isn't like a mental health, like a lot of the time where I do go MIA, it's more of like an anxiety, depression kind of thing. This thing is just, I have a lot on my plate and I'm working through a lot of things, and it's been some time since I've had a whole lot on my plate in this capacity. And now that I'm a little bit older and a little bit wiser, and I know myself really well, I don't want to overwhelm myself and ruin the opportunities that I have going for me now. So if you haven't been watching my channel for a while, or if you're just finding my channel, I have currently enrolled in esthetician schooling so I can get my hours to take my state certification in the state of California. But I also live out in the middle of the desert, and I also work for a public school district. So I have a whole lot on my plate, and with my job, I was as a secretary in one of the departments. My gig was a cute little 6-hour gig, you know, so I had time to like come home, do some filming, some editing. I can do multiple videos in a day kind of thing, edit a couple of videos, you know, in a day, and kind of do it throughout the week. And it was better to stack up my videos, where now that I'm in school, my school is later in the evening. I am at a school at 9:30, but my school is 40 minutes away, so I do have to commute through heavy traffic, and the only freeway that I have available to me to get anywhere is the one traffic where everyone has to take to get to Vegas. And Coachella and Stagecoach just happened, and that was an absolute nightmare on a Friday to drive through that. At least coming back up, like, I didn't realize that like traffic even that late in the evening was still going to be that crazy, but it is what it is. But so far it hasn't been bad. The only thing about driving so late at night is that everyone drives with their like brights on, and they'll get right behind your car, and I'm like, look, please just turn it down. It doesn't have to be that bright. Just turn it down, because now you're lighting up my entire car and I can't see. It's like your eyes are open, but it's like driving with your eyes closed. Terrifying. But other than that, like, I have just been busy with work, sort of. I did interview and get a position in another department, so now I'm working 8 hours, but those shifts are supposed to be starting later in the day. Like, I usually start my shift at like 6 a.m. I think the shift will be starting at like 7 a.m. So we'll see what happens with that, because we have to talk to my new boss about maybe coming in a little bit earlier, because my program is only 8 months long, and if I don't miss a day of school, I will be done with school February 6th. And that's what I'm looking at. I don't anticipate missing any days of school, so I can be done in February and just be done with it. When I'm filming this, we are just starting week 3. I've already had my first assessment, and I've learned a lot of things. So if you're interested in becoming an esthetician, these are kind of the things that you're going to come across. I realized very early on that my school, you're only going to learn the things that are on the state exam. It's not really to learn technique. And now in the state of California, you don't have to do the practical version of the test, you only have to do the written. So I feel like even with that said, they're more focused on like what's the written answers versus like the technique. this week we are going into facials, but we have been so into theory and answering the workbook questions and vocabulary and things like that, which is very important to know. If you weren't aware, in the state of California, estheticians can only work on the surface of the skin, on the what is called the epidermis. So it's all right here. Anything that goes beyond that into the dermis or hypodermis, like, we're not allowed to touch. So if you are getting lip fillers, you're getting that from a medical esthetician, and that's usually someone who under a dermatologist is allowed to work. Well, not even lip fillers. For lip fillers, you're working with a medical esthetician that has their LVN, which is like a nurse's assistant license, which is another layer of trade school. But if you were doing like the laser hair removal, that esthetician is just an esthetician that under the approval of a dermatologist is able to use that equipment because they've been trained on that equipment by the dermatologist. It's very weird how all of that goes. If you would like to know more about that, I can make a video on it because there is a lot of unique and different things that goes into it, but I'm not trying to make like a super long video just yet because I feel like there's been so much that we covered in these first couple weeks, and kind of what you can do with your esthetician license, and the jobs available, and basically how this kind of career is you have to carve your own path in what you want to do. There's multiple things that you can do, like what really caught my attention was, that you can become a professional writer for magazines and things like that. And I'm assuming also like a blogger or a content creator in this capacity. And I had an assignment from my teacher where she wanted us to write why we wanted to be an esthetician, how we plan to achieve our goals, what we want to do with our esthetician license, and once we achieve those goals, like, how are we gonna move on to that next step? And it wasn't something that she was sharing with the class. Like, she was just gonna reply back, and so she can kind of figure out how she was gonna do her curriculum. And I feel comfortable enough to kind of share with her that I have a little bit of a internet community where I do talk about makeup products and things like that. And I would love to take what I learned from my schooling and apply it to there. I would also love to do services like waxing and makeup artistry and those kinds of things. But my background is in organic chemistry, so I am very interested in how ingredients and things work together and how you can best apply that to the skin. Because I believe that everybody wants to look good and feel good, and like that could be something where you get cosmetic surgery, or that's something that you buy the really expensive Tatcha face wash, like whatever it is. But I want to be someone that like can tell people like, oh, that's going to be a good investment in your money, or like that's not a good product, don't spend money on this, spend money on this, that kind of thing. And on a professional level, not just because like I have the money and means to buy these things and test it out. Like I kind of want to have the like, oh no, I know what I'm talking about because I do this professionally. And I realized that like she thought YouTube and TikTok were the same thing. And not that she discouraged me, but she was kind of like, I don't know if you really need to have a license to do that because you could just buy those products. But that's the thing. I don't just want to have product knowledge. I want to have like the technique on how to do it. So like if you wanted to do your own lash perm, I can walk you through it. And not just from my own experience, but just again, that professional background of like, I do this professionally. I can tell you guys how to do it. That's kind of like what I want to do. I just want to help you all out in any way that I can in that capacity. And it made me realize that, you know what, I just kind of have to trust my gut, myself, and what I want to do. And, not everybody is up to date on these things because the beauty environment is always growing and changing. And it is kind of like a revolving door constantly. I mean, when I talk about makeup, how much makeup is being released every single day. You know what I mean? So there was that. And I realized that, like, again, the content of the class, the curriculum of the class is just very basic. because I have been interested in becoming an esthetician for so long. I have so many esthetician friends. I've been getting services for as long as I could remember, and I, talk to my esthetician about what they're doing, to my skin, so I know. So I already have a lot of this knowledge, like a lot of this base knowledge, and our first assessment was going over the intake form. And an intake form is when a client like kind of fills out a questionnaire of like any medications that they're taking, any skincare products. Because obviously if you're using a retinol and you used it yesterday, I'm not going to do an exfoliation treatment on you because that will just like devastate your skin. And so just those kind of things. Or maybe you have like rosacea or, just diabetes, just something that like I couldn't work on because I'm not a medical professional. Especially with like different types of acne, and I think is it Accutane, that's like the really heavy medication and things like that. People have such unique skin and so many different characteristics of their skin that there's some things that like totally an esthetician can help out with, but then on a medical level it would be in your best interest to see a dermatologist because they're more trained in that capacity, where I think that the esthetician is very much surface level beauty. But that doesn't mean that they don't care about your skin and want, you to feel confident and feel good. Like, I mean, I would feel really rotten if, like, I had a client come in and I did something to their face and they just had a horrible reaction, and, like, I could have prevented that because, I actually studied in class and learned, like, oh, you know what? If you take this kind of medication or if you use this kind of product, we shouldn't be doing X, Y, and Z, But again, maybe that's just, like, a really good professional. I don't know. I've never had a bad experience with an esthetician, but I also know that I do a lot of my own homework when looking into who I'm getting my services by. Because even though it's not like plastic surgery, I feel like anyone should use those same, theories of like when you do get plastic surgery, really do your research into your doctors, what that surgery is, what it should look like, how it's going to heal, that kind of thing. You should be doing that for simple things like getting your armpits waxed or getting your eyebrows done, things like that. I think we all should age beyond the like, oh, well, I'm going to Claire's because everybody goes to Claire's to get their ears pierced, if that makes sense. And now in the state of California, you don't have to do the practical part of the exam for the state certification. You just have to do the written test. So I feel like classes are more leaned to that way. We're now moving into facials, but I've realized that like my teacher isn't very hands-on with that. Like she just kind of sees what you're doing. She's like, yeah, that's good, and I know that like practice makes perfect, but it's also kind of like, why am I going into student loan debt for this? Because I could just learn these things off of YouTube and pass the test. You know what I mean? And then there was one day where she played 2 YouTube videos and I was pissed because like, I'm going into student debt for you to play free content for me in a class that I had to drive 40 minutes to one way and then 40 minutes back home. It was just kind of annoying. But I think that's with all trade schools. I think they're all like that. When I talked to my partner about their HVAC experience when they were going to school, they said similar things. And, I just got to keep my head down. I have that end date of February 6th, and that's what I'm really aiming for. And now with my new job and taking on the learning curve of that and trying to stay on top of my studies, I think I kind of have to take a break from YouTube for a little bit, but not, I say that like, I don't know, because I'm not going to not make content. I just think I'm going to be really pulling it back and doing maybe a video a week. But I am going to say for the rest of June, I probably won't have any more videos just so I can kind of stockpile a little bit and kind of, get ahead of the game. But I think at maximum, I will most likely only have a video a week because I need to stay on top of my studies. And now with my new schedule, like I don't have the time in like during my week to do it. It's only my weekends, but my weekends is also my own free time. And I'm looking at my content room right now, and I really need to clean it. It has gotten so out of control. It's kind of chaotic to be in here right now. And I need to clean my house. Like, there's just those kind of things that I need to take care of. So I just wanted to hop in and kind of let you guys know that I'm still here. I'm thinking of you. I'm not disappearing. I'm working hard so I can make better content for you all, and be a more professional content creator. And I'm just working really hard. I want to stop kind of living a what if and just do it and just do the things. And it's been a really nice change of pace. I feel like I have a little bit more of a sense of identity. I am still going through that weird like caterpillar phase, but I'm really excited to see what happens at the end of this journey, and then going on to my next one, what that's gonna look like. I don't know, I was even considering like chopping my hair really short the other day, like this length. I also have been really in love with Hana from Chainsaw Man. Her clips have just been kind of popping up on my TikTok feed. I get a lot of anime fan cams on my TikTok. That's the TikTok I'm in right now. Anime fan cams. But I don't know. We'll see what happens, but let me know in the comments down below, what kind of content would you like to see from me as a professional esthetician, just so I can kind of put that in my brain and make sure I know what I really need to pay attention to. And I don't know, what kind of services do you get from your esthetician that you would like to have a little bit more information on? I don't know. What have you been up to? What have you been doing without watching me? What have you been watching on YouTube? Because I feel like I have been so far away from the internet for the past few weeks, and now my algorithm is all messed up and it's suggesting things to me that I don't really want to watch. Oh, you know what? I am going to take off time September 26th, that whole week. I am taking time off of work, not from school, off of work, so I can play Phantom Liberty, because they finally released the dates for Cyberpunk, and I've been telling you guys since the beginning of my YouTube channel, when that DLC came out, I was gonna just take time off and I was gonna play it. I'm not gonna miss school, because again, that end date of February 6th, that's what's keeping me going. But I have vacation time for work, so I can spend all day playing it and then go to work or go to school in the evening and then come back and play. I'm so excited. I'm looking so forward to Phantom Liberty. I'm so excited. Yes. Okay. I still need to finish Tears of the Kingdom. Haven't finished that. Haven't finished it at all. But let me know in the comments down below. What have you been up to? What have you been playing? I would love to hear from you guys. I try to answer or respond back to all of my comments. I really, really do. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.